Punishing Grey Raven is a very fast game, bathed in sci-fi iconography from all over the past century. It's a game about the struggle of humanity to overcome an apocalypse that our scientific hubris is partially responsible for. In the quest for a source of infinite energy, we tapped into something out there beyond our understanding. And now all our technology is trying to kill us. And the gameplay is fittingly stylish and sci-fi to match this story as old as machines themselves. Punishing Grey Raven is a game that excels at being fast. So why is it that its best moment comes when it slows down? Chapter 18 of PGR's main story starts off a little weird. No big action scene, no political intrigue, no familiar cast. We open on a sniper turret, long abandoned on a lonely rooftop in the midst of a massive blizzard. After being rebooted, the weathered turret seems to speak both to us and for us with a simple why. Nanami, who will be our main character for this chapter, pops up and has some banter with Snipey the Sniper. Already this first stage has been slow, quiet. Now it almost takes a step back from itself to show us Snipey's memories. We learn that the world has been freezing for decades, that this thing has been expanding and devouring the landscape with its pitch white maw. They call it the Everwinter. To give a basic rundown, we had a really good weapon against the sentient machine virus hell-bent on our extermination, but that really good weapon failed, and we spent so much energy trying to make a new one that we used up all the hot, and now it's cold forever. By now, we're used to being hated by our enemies. Corrupted, ascendants, even the sentient evolution of the virus itself want to see humans dead. But not the Everwinter. You can't even call it a villain, really. It's just nature. Miles and miles of pillowy nothing, freezing friend and foe alike, uncaring, lonely. The stages we play through keep stressing how gone humans are, how much these machines will wait and wait and wait for them to return. But it becomes increasingly clear as we play on that humans aren't coming back. We didn't leave, or disappear, or relocate. We've gone extinct. It's important to note that there has only been one combat encounter in this entire section, and it's over as soon as it begins. We are so truly alone in this future that there aren't even any enemies left to fight. There isn't a whole lot of anything left after the Everwinter. The only survivors are machines, and most of those are too frozen over to function. It makes me feel anxious to think about how many people must have frozen without knowing whether or not they were just a few meters from the nearest life or a few thousand. How alone they felt, too. The little machine neighborhood waiting for humans to come back, Snipey searching for his master with Nanami. These little moments of companionship in the cold seem almost engineered to pass. When Snipey eventually leaves us, the isolation hits harder than if we had never met him at all. He probably felt the same way, watching his master jump from their rooftop. One recurring theme in these stages is that no one knows how much time has passed in the Everwinter. Not for sure. It's been a long time, but the snow piles up and smooths out our history until no one can remember what the world was like before. All winters are like this in small ways. When you look at a snowy hill or frozen road, it's hard to think of what it was like in the summer when it had all thawed. I've never known the cold, though. I've lived through precisely one snowy winter, and even that barely dipped below freezing. The idea of freezing to death is as foreign to me as being attacked by a living computer. And yet, when I see how barren Earth has become, I'm filled with dread. I think it's a human thing to fear the power of nature, chipped into our bones by generations of scraping through an unforgiving winter. We are born knowing that we should worry when it gets too cold. The Everwinter takes our primal terror of uninhabitable environments and brings it to its natural, or maybe unnatural, conclusion. I always thought the punishing virus felt a little too External? As an antagonist in PGR, sure, we invented the reactor that spawned it, but it has its own sentience and agenda, and this makes it come off as very much separate from us. Compared to an eternal winter of our own making, I know which one is more grotesquely intimate. What scares me the most is how uncaring the frost is. The cold does not think about who lives or dies under it. It doesn't think at all. This is a future where we're free from our war against the punishing virus. Even the corrupted can't survive in this climate. This should be a great thing. We finally don't have to worry about fighting for our lives against an impossible enemy. But there's not much to celebrate. Our most powerful weapons failed us, and in our search for a replacement, we turned the world into this. Sure, we don't have to worry about the virus, but there's no one left to do any worrying anyway. We only beat the apocalypse by creating a bigger one. The everwinter sticks to my brain, I think, because there's nothing to do about it. We had our chance. We were fighting for our lives, and we made a wrong move, and now the planet is covered in a blizzard, and we're done. Game over. We can't ignore the real-world parallel here either. I know I've had a sleepless night or two over the idea that my generation might be the last to die at the hand of something other than climate ruin. What's that, Snipey? Humans would surely avert a climate crisis if they were able to. Haha. Yeah. I'd like to be optimistic and say this is all just fun fiction that we look at and go, sure is nice this won't happen to us. But I can't say that with certainty. The Everwinter is a glimpse into an actual future for humanity where there is truly nothing left. Leaving a frigid scar on the world, humans go extinct. You should fear the Everwinter. I know I do.